What if I told you there is something that many of us see nearly every day, that if we just used more of it, it could improve our lives, improve our health, our economy, and our environment. It could rescue us from feeling on edge and unhealthy. And it could give nearly everyone the ability to access a full and dignified life. What if I said you didn't need a magic wand, a fad diet, or the luck of the Irish to get it? I'm a Middle Tennessean, and even though I was raised in a rural community, I dreamed of living in a big city one day. And in my bones, I prayed that Nashville would become that big city. That is coming to pass. But in becoming a bigger city, Nashville is faced with some interesting challenges. From traffic to increased living costs. Those of us who have been here for a while can attest to the growing pains. So, for a city growing and changing like Nashville, what is the thing that matters most? I can almost hear responses like education, jobs, healthcare, and yes, it is access to all of those vital components of our lives, because individual freedom is tied to mobility. For mobility, we need transportation. And in a transportation system, not all modes are created equal. So, from sidewalks to trains and everything in between, what is the backbone, the workhorse, the thing that matters most? In a city growing and changing like Nashville, that is public transit. Probably not the answer you were expecting. So let's dive in there. Let's explore ways transit is the thing that matters most. I said up front that it could improve our economy. Some of us may recall that not too long ago, Nashville was simply a flyover country. Well, today, our skyline is dotted with so many cranes, the joke is we're going to change the state bird. We top numerous lists of favorable places to visit, to have a bachelorette party, to raise a family, to ride a pedal tavern, and to start a business. Even being named the It City by the New York Times in 2013, and bam, just like that overnight, it seemed like Nashville was all glitz and glam. That same day, many of us woke up and found that we could no longer afford to even live here. So how does a city like Nashville sustain that economic growth while preserving affordable living for the essential workforce that keeps it thriving? Give commuters and workers a more affordable transportation option, and you give them a stronger economic inclusion tool and a deeper stake in the economy. You see, by investing more in public transit, it not only makes our economy more competitive with our sister cities, who, believe me, are already there. You enrich quality of life for those residents who are here. You preserve that affordable living for the essential workforce in a region that is already cost burdened. Many of our families and households are already spending over 50% of their household income on housing and transportation alone. Investing in public transit can help lower those costs. Because when accessible by many, economic growth benefits many. But the economy is not the only thing that benefits. Investing in public transit can have a profound impact on our environment too. It can help us lift the pall of smog from our beautiful skyline. It can help slow the rate of climate change, preserve beautiful green spaces, and improve our air quality. And in combination with the environmental improvements, public transit can have an impact on our health too. It's easy to see that bad air quality exacerbates things like asthma. But did you know that our physical and mental health suffers when we lack access to nature and physical activity? The British Medical Journal reported that in populations that take public transit, they can reduce their heart disease rates by 46%. And Mobility Lab reported that of those who participate in active transportation, like walking, biking, and public transit, 92% report feeling satisfied and very satisfied with their daily commute, while only 54% of those who drove alone reported similar satisfaction levels. Investing in public transit can help us live longer. It can help us lose weight, lower BMI, lower rates of heart disease and diabetes, lower premature birth rates, reduce asthma rates, mitigate our stress, increase our productivity, and even support marital bliss. I know it sounds wacky, but there is a report that ties longer commutes to higher divorce rates. Whether young or old, rich or poor, or differently abled, whether you're going to the store, to school, to see your mom, or to the park. Mobility is freedom. It is a chance. It is a game changer. I think that's why one of my favorite taglines for transit is, some of us use it, all of us need it. Because in America, for decades, we have been steeped and socialized and groomed to believe that the individual personal car is the default mode of transportation, the ultimate personal expression of freedom. Even our cities are built on that assumption, with miles of roads and acres of parking. But living in that car-centric culture comes with a trade-off, and those costs are rising. For instance, it costs about $10,000 a year to own and maintain one personal vehicle, once you factor in payment, insurance, maintenance, and gas. And the sad part is that our economy presumes, assumes, and even demands that we own personal vehicles in order to participate. And that's just not an equitable economy. Then there are the public costs of owning a personal vehicle. Infrastructure like roads, signs, traffic signals, highways, they're all subsidized by public tax dollars, like public transit could be, but the infrastructure for personal car ownership gets more than its fair share. Then you have all of the things that we take for granted. Time lost to sitting in traffic, pollution, sprawl, and even traffic accidents don't have to be a regular part of life. It's starting to dawn on many that this is not a sustainable transportation system, one built around an individual's personal vehicle. And some cities are changing. I wonder if Nashville will. Years ago, I decided that solving this issue of transit is how Nashville will define its priorities for generations to come. Who are we going to be? With robust transit options, we can unlock freedom of movement for many to access a life unburdened by the stress and expense of having to own a personal vehicle. Give them a life that benefits from greater economic mobility and lower household costs. An economy that benefits from happier, more productive, and an accessible workforce. An air that is simply easier to breathe. I don't believe that this is a fever dream of impossibility. I believe that it's within our reach if we agree to reach for it. And with clear benefits, including improved affordability, cleaner air, healthier bodies and communities, enhanced access to better paying jobs and education, a sustainable and competitive economy, preserved green space, reduced reliance on oil for energy, cleaner air, and a better use of public space. I ask, isn't it time that we all agree that public transit could be the thing that matters most for us right now?